Hey! Well, coming to you live from WRUEN, Tennessee. Well, it's the Scribbling Woman.
Hi, I'm Nancy Rue. I am that scribbling woman, and so are you. And that's why we're having this conversation. Here, we talk about the writerly life that is unique to you, no matter what your age, your season, or where you are in your creative journey. You are now an official Scribbly, so let's talk. And I hope you have your play clothes on because we're not working today. If you are one of our more serious, sophisticated Scribblies, don't simply reach for the stop icon, okay? Because a lot of what we're going to talk about today will apply to you even in your most somber writing. So hang in there with us. Okay, a story again. Whenever years ago we said to our small child, Mary Jean, do you want to go to the park? Or why don't you get some toys and we'll go outside? She would light up like a little sparkler and she would clap her little hands and she would say, play games every time. She was embodied excitement. Actually, at 46, she's still that way, isn't she, Jim? And is there any reason why we, as scribbling women, can't find that same kind of delicious anticipation about our writing? Well, I can almost hear you coming up with about 5 reasons in one breath. So let me be clear. Editing commas is not creative writing. Finding an agent or a publisher and writing query letters and synopses is not creative writing. Marketing is not creative writing. Creative writing, which is what we're talking about here, is following the enchanting beckoning of an idea. It's watching the idea reel out into a story in your mind and scribbling it down. It's imagining the characters who will populate that story. It's going down the bunny trails of things you'll need to know to make it real. It's landing on images and dialogue like you're a dragonfly finding just the right spot. Now consider that question. Is there any reason why we as scribbling women can't feel that same kind of delicious anticipation about our creative writing? In this series of episodes, we're going to explore ways to rediscover that creative joy. And today, in episode number 30, we're going to find our playground. We're going to think beyond swings and slides and jungle gyms as we consider 3 kinds of writerly playgrounds. Okay, number 1 is our openness to the world around us. I think we all know that even the fun part of writing doesn't start when we sit down in front of the laptop or take pen in hand. The play begins when we're paying attention to the world around us. That's where we collect the fire. We capture the fireflies in the jar. We chase butterflies with a net. It's like catching minnows in a stream, collecting shells on the beach, or picking up a rock that just wants to go home with us. It just does. Sometimes we're not even aware of why we're doing it. Sometimes we are, but we don't know what we're going to do with those rocks and shells and lightning bugs once we have them. We just know we have to. Well, that happens with the stuff of writing too. Let's say we overhear a conversation in the line at Starbucks. A woman turns to her friend and she says, she hung a ladder-back chair upside down on the wall and is using it for a shelf. Now, how weird is that? You don't think it's weird at all. You think it would be cool to write a children's story where everything is upside down except the people. And you get out your phone and you make notes while the barista is making your caramel macchiato. Later that same day, you see a woman in a wheelchair in the cookie aisle at the grocery store, and she is obviously savoring the choices between double stuffed Oreos and the kind flavored with pistachios. Her delight is infectious. You wonder, how is a person unable to walk able to find such joy in choosing her treats? You want to take her home with you, so you do, in the form of a character who changes a town one person at a time. Still later that day, you're hurrying through Target looking for a present for your child to take to that afternoon's birthday party, the one he just told you about this morning. And you stop dead in front of a t-shirt on display that reads, "The only disability of life is a bad attitude." Well, there is no doubt in your mind that cookie aisle lady is going to wear that t-shirt, that her town is populated with people who have the worst attitudes ever, and she's going to change that one person at a time. Oh, and she definitely has a chair hanging upside down in the kitchen where she keeps the cookies and hangs the aprons. What if we've been scrolling on our phone in the Starbucks line and missed the chair conversation? What if we were so annoyed by the lady blocking the cookie aisle with her wheelchair while we were trying to find the vanilla wafers? What if we were so preoccupied with our irritation with our kid that we didn't see that t-shirt? Here's the deal. The whole world is full of playground equipment. We need to look around the way children do and say to ourselves, "Mama, look at this." Now, our next step within that is to broaden that world. We all tend to narrow our path through life, the same commute to work, the same route to the drop-off line at the school, the regular beat of errands and shopping. In fact, many of us don't even go to stores anymore. We're so busy we have to order online. If we want to play on the writerly playground, we have to get out of the car seat. If we had driven past the park with our child and said, "There it is, MJ, take a good look because we don't have time to stop," there would be no play games. So can we forego the Saturday house cleaning just once a month? Take a hike instead. No one ever died from house bunnies under the bed or an unwashed window. But creative writing will surely die in a four-walled world. Can we take a different route to work? Can we browse the boutique shop instead of Amazon? A new playground makes for fresher writing, and it's fun. We are never bored when we're making discoveries. For you serious, sophisticated types, if it is fun for you to explore those history books, do those science experiments in order to enrich your writing, you play that game. Now, number 2, finding our playground means going to the place where our soul meets our mind. That's inside us, that secret, magical place where our soul whispers to our mind, "What about this? Can this be fascinating? Let's go here." Note that it's our soul that speaks to our mind, not vice versa. Our mind's more like a school. It's where we learn the rules, the ways to organize our thoughts, the things to avoid if we want our writing to make sense. We have to go to school sometimes, but our soul is the playground. This is where the authenticity lives. I believe it's where God does God's thing within us. That's where what we are meant to stay has its origin. It's the soul that grabs onto that marvelous woman in the cookie aisle and makes us love her immediately. It's the soul that brings us back to the way we once looked at the world. Let's fast forward from our daughter to our grandchild. When Moz was only 2 years old, spotted their first fireflies in our yard. And our daughter said, going for the teachable moment, of course, "Do you know why they light up like that?" And Moz answered, "Because they have little green flashlights in them." That is the soul. That is the writerly playground. Let's go back to that. I think it's vital for every writer to be in touch with the soul on a regular basis in some way. Be aware of what touches us deeply. Explore what makes us giggle. You do still giggle, don't you? If not, what the heck's been stopping you? It's what makes us tingle and clap our hands and say, "Play games." We have to find ourselves to be the most fascinating people we know and take delight in us in everything that we are. The third playground happens in our actual physical writing space, where the actual act of writing takes place. Way back in episode 5, guest scribbly Janai May and I talked about dreaming your ideal studio. I wish that we all had an ideal one, but we don't have to in order to play with what we have. I think we just need 3 essentials to ensure joy in our writing space. One is a dedicated space. Be that a whole room, corner of a room, a closet that you've decorated, or even a writing on the go bag that has everything you need in it for your table at the coffee shop or the study room at the library, or the spot on the bleachers at your kids' soccer practices. Sure, we can write anywhere, but for the most part, we need to know this is where I'm free to run and climb, hang upside down where there are no monitors or playground bullies. Do your kids have a place to play in your house? Does your partner have a man cave or a she shed? Well, don't you deserve one too? The next essential in your writing space is to have your own toys that you don't have to share with anyone else. Now, again, this is where the more serious, sophisticated scribblies among us reach for the stop icon, but hear me out. We all have our own idea of what toys are. Some toys are just the right pens. Even if we don't write everything longhand, science has proven that there is something about the physical act of pen on paper that frees a different part of the mind, a different part of the brain. Everyone's will be different. Yours might be a collection of Cali Art markers or classy ballpoint or the ink and fountain variety. I can't function without an endless supply of Uniball Impact gel pens. I buy them in bulk. The other kind of toy is just the right inspiration. You know what I'm talking about, right? Now, it might be a stuffy who reminds you not to take yourself too seriously, or it could be an inkwell to help you remember that you're part of a long and honored writing tradition. My fellow scribblies write surrounded by everything from unicorns to jars of marbles, stacks of leather journals to pictures of themselves at age 10. If it makes you grin, if it makes you scribble without stopping, if it makes you say, play games, then it gets to be there in your writing space and no one else gets to play with it. That also goes for what hangs on the walls. Maybe it's a whiteboard full of words to live by, or a framed quote by Oscar Wilde saying, be yourself, everyone else is taken. Goes for what you carry in your to-go bag too. So take a miniature of Rodin's The Thinker that you can set on the table next to your Diet Coke. Or be sure there's a quill pen in there that you can tuck behind your ear. Don't leave home without them. The third essential toy in your writing space, what makes you comfortable? Playgrounds don't have straight back chairs. No self-respecting child wears their Sunday best shoes to dig in the sandbox. How can we explore the treasures of playgrounds of our soul while sitting with perfect posture on a hard chair at a desk that looks like corporate America? How can we see our way around our imaginations in cold, unfriendly light? We need us some cushions. We need some places to slouch. We need some comfy play clothes we can move in. That same Play Games daughter now says, if it doesn't feel like pajamas, I'm not wearing it. Do I feel some degree of professionalism when I write? I like to. So do I put on mascara and lip gloss and make sure I don't have bedhead? Yeah. I also like for my nails to be painted, my earrings to match my outfit. And of course, there are the Harry Potter glasses. But that's not the time for the pencil skirt and a pair of pumps, unless, of course, that makes you feel playful. The point is that if we're going to return to the joy of creating stories and vivid nonfiction, we have to be comfortable in whatever way works for each of us in our own writerly lives. So choose a cushy seat or a rolling desk chair. Go with overalls and cap or yoga pants and a sarong. Get a pile of pillows on the floor or a meditation chair against the wall. Decide whether you want a vintage roll top or a lap desk. You can breathe and dream and do somersaults in your soul. That is your playground. Wherever we go, in our world, in our souls, in our personal writing spaces, our intention is to allow that to be a place of joy when we can chase ideas and catch them in the air and run free with them. We'll continue to return to the joy in our next 6 episodes, so get your toys together. Until next time, scribble on and play games.